You used to know exactly who you were. You knew what you liked, you knew what you wanted, you knew exactly what everybody expected from you, and you did that. You pretty much had a really good handle on who you were. And then somewhere between the life changes, the transitions, and after everything that's happened to you, you found yourself standing there feeling lost, like you don't even know who you are anymore. It was like you were looking at an old picture of yourself, but you didn't even recognize her, okay? And worst of all, no one ever told you that you get to grieve that. So you've just been quietly carrying it around and wondering where she is, looking for her everywhere, and wondering, is she ever even going to come back? And friend, I have to tell you, there's nothing wrong with you. You are not lost. You are not broken. You just missed an invitation to get to know yourself during this season. And that's a really big difference. So let's really get into it. I have to tell you about how I learned this lesson because it came at a season in my life when I had no idea that this would actually come up out of it. But be first, but be first. But first, before I do that, let me introduce myself. I'm Letitia, your identity shift coach. And you know what? I'm not even going to edit that out. We leaving it in, okay? Because to know me is to know me. So make sure that you are subscribed because we have conversations like this every single day. Okay, friend. So let me tell you how I learned all about this, friend, because this was definitely one of those things that you had to live it in order to understand it. And I definitely do. So this lesson came from my grief journey. When my mom made her transition to heaven, I felt completely devastated because she was my person. She was my plus one. She was the one that I called for every decision, every time that I wanted to make a purchase. She was the person that I talked to at least a million times a day. And listen, I'm not even putting 20 on a 10 here, no exaggeration. She was my person. We even share the exact same birthday. I was born on her 15th birthday, and I used to tell her all the time, I'm the gift that keeps on giving. And when she made her transition to heaven, I felt completely lost. I felt like I did not know myself at all. Like I felt like, who is this woman? Harpo, who this woman? I can make light of it and laugh at it now, but at the time, listen, friend, the laughs were by very little, okay? Because this was not funny at the time. But listen, laughter is definitely my remedy for pretty much everything, okay? But at that time, I just felt so incredibly lost. I felt like I didn't know who I was without my mom physically being here. And for years, I had spent so much time trying to find love. I was on this quest to find my next husband. And after my mom passed, all of that just went right out the window. And mind you, my granny had passed not too long before my mom. So there I was without my two women who were like my anchors in life. And they were also like the head of my committee. I had my mom, my granny, and a very few select of my very close friends who I talked through everything with. I would talk to them and get a consensus and make my decisions based off of all of that. And after my mom and granny passed, I didn't have them anymore as my anchors. And it was like my whole committee became disbanded. And I just felt like I was just out here lost. And it really forced me to realize that I had really not been believing and trusting my own self. I had been relying on committee decisions and calling it wisdom, okay? But I had really stifled my own self trust. And that was something that really needed to be rebuilt because I needed to be able to trust myself. And thank the heavens for grief counseling because without it, listen, it became my new lifeline. Okay. And throughout that process, I realized that I wasn't lost. I just did not know myself in that season of my life because the version of me that I was in my 20s and even throughout a lot of my 30s, those were both different versions of me. And it wasn't that I didn't know myself because there were still a lot of things that were present, like my core values, my favorite color, my favorite ice cream, my favorite song. There were still very foundational things about me. A lot of my own core beliefs, my values, those things were still the same. But there was a new person who had evolved throughout all of this grief. There were new layers of myself that needed to be explored. And this was my opportunity to do that. So, what started out as a quest to find me really just became an opportunity for me to get to know me. And here's what we do when we don't recognize ourselves anymore. We say things like we are lost, and then we shame ourselves for not knowing who we are anymore. We try to measure our current self against an older version of ourselves. And listen, you cannot measure the 2026 version of you to a 2015 ruler. It's just not even a fair measurement. And even just the idea that you're supposed to stay the exact same person your whole entire life after living life changing experiences and think that those things aren't supposed to shape you when literally the version of yourself that you are right now has been shaped by all of your previous experiences. It's the irony of it all for me. But this is what we do, friend. We will make ourselves feel bad about no longer being who we were when there's absolutely nothing wrong with not being the exact same. We were literally built to grow and evolve. That's what life is all about. And don't even get me started about being exhausted by still continuing to try and show up as the old version of you, the one that everyone around you now expects you to be, and carrying the weight of all of that. You used to be the person who was just so easygoing and said yes to everything. And now your yes is a little bit harder to come by. Now your yes comes with an evaluation. It comes with you checking in on your capacity to even say yes. It comes after you've even checked in with yourself to see if it's even something that you really want to do. And trying to really find some type of a flow between what you used to allow, what you used to tolerate, what you used to do in comparison to all of these filters that you're now running things through, it's exhausting, especially when you're still trying to be that old version of yourself that you've outgrown. And one of the things that I realized when I was going through my grief journey is that grief does not just happen when someone makes their transition to heaven. Grief can happen from the end of a relationship, the end of a job, the end of a career, the end of some pillar in your life that you based your whole life around. And we do that so much with the roles and the titles that we fill that when those things change in a massive way, it can leave us feeling like we're lost and we just don't even know who we are without that title, that role, or that significant person that had been in our life for as long as we can remember. And what I really realized is I wasn't failing to be who I was. I was being invited to learn and explore these new layers of myself. Ooh, friend. Ooh, that's good. Rewind that, okay? And write it down. Ooh, that was good. Because that is what's really happening. There are so many things about you that have still stayed the same. And yet, there are these new layers to yourself because maybe some other things that you used to like or things that you used to want have grown and changed and evolved into something else. Maybe it's made a transition and what you used to want to do, now you want to pivot in another direction, or something that you used to really like, it just doesn't really fit who you are anymore. And all of that is okay. It's okay, friend. You're okay. And that version of yourself, that person who you no longer are anymore, she deserves to be honored. And you can do that by grieving her because she has been a significant part of your life. She has carried you all of this way through the ups, the downs, the in betweens, all of it. She's been there. And she deserves to be honored, and you can show her your respects. And I want you to understand it's not that she's just gone forever, because listen, I happen to believe that you can call on previous versions of yourself. Maybe she used to be the one that was quick to pop back, okay? Nobody was going to run over her. And if you need her to stand up for you and to protect you, she can definitely make a cameo appearance. But she's not the one that's running the show anymore. You are. But she deserves to be honored, loved, and respected for everything that she's brought you through. So it is okay to grieve her, to mourn her, and pay your respects. Now, I see you, friend. You've been nodding along this whole time because you are like, girl, this is me. You really feel this because you've been building and surviving and showing up for everybody else, but never really slowing down long enough to get to know yourself at this season of life. And the main character energy journal prompts, they help you have that conversation with this new version of yourself because she has been waiting for you to slow down and ask her, how is she? What does she want? What does she need? And who is she becoming so that you know what you're building next? Friend, you have been running And these journal prompts are your chance to slow down and reconnect back to yourself in the best way possible. So go ahead and grab those from the description below. And friend, in the meantime, I have a few steps to really help you set yourself up for these main character energy journal prompts, okay? Step one is accept the invitation because that's exactly what this is. I know this time can feel uncertain, it can feel uncomfortable, but friend, it's really just an invitation to get to know yourself now because you done been through some things, okay? There have been some experiences that have shaped you into this new version of yourself. And for every season, for every transition, for even every loss, there's been a new layer of yourself that is there just waiting for you to slow down and explore it. So, really get to know yourself because that's what this season is calling for. And step two is grieve that old version of yourself. It is okay, friend, to feel like you're leaving a part of yourself behind. I think it's natural to feel that way, but really, you're not leaving her behind. She's coming with. It's just that she's not driving anymore. She's just taking on a different position now in your life. This new version of yourself that is revealing itself to you, that is the version of yourself that is going to drive you forward. So she's just not in the driver's seat anymore. That old version, she's either in the passenger seat or maybe you need to pop her on in the back seat. It's okay. She's still coming on for the ride, but she's just not driving anymore. But it is okay to show her love and appreciation and respect for her doing her big one, as my daughter would say. But it's okay to grieve her. When you show her the proper attention and respect, she will gladly take on her new position. She knows that her time of driving is done and she's done her job well. So now it's time to wish her well and move forward with the new version of yourself that's now behind the wheel. And step three is a shift. Stop trying to find yourself and start getting to know yourself. We have a really important piece that I didn't even talk about before, but that is the language that we use. When you say that you're lost, it implies that you're just like somewhere out in the wilderness and no one knows where you are. And friend, that's not true. You're not lost. You're right here. You are standing right here. You haven't gone anywhere. There are just new things about you that are coming to the surface. I heard Ayala Van Zant saying that we really just spend our whole lives remembering who we really are. This is really you remembering more pieces, more parts, more layers of yourself. So it's not that you're lost. You're standing right here. You're sitting right here with me. You're not lost, friend. You are right here. So get curious. This is the fun part, friend. What do you love? What do you like? What do you want? And sometimes I know that can be a really hard question to answer. So maybe you just need to reverse engineer it. What do you not want in this season of your life? Because sometimes you know exactly what you don't want before you know what you want. But if you understand what you don't want, then that actually gives you some clarity into what you do want. You can even just spend a little time and dream of what's next for you. It costs you nothing to dream. So, what are you dreaming up next, friend? This is the fun part. So, get excited, get curious, and let's have some fun with this, okay? And let me give you a journal prompt. What version of yourself have you been grieving that actually deserves a thank you instead? Mm. Oh, that's so good, friend. This is where you get to give yourself some grace. Give yourself the respect that you deserve, the appreciation, the gratitude for yourself, everything that you've been through, everything that led you here. Honor her because she's worthy of being praised. Okay. Okay. Oh, she worthy. And then tell me in the comments, friend, what is one thing you are finally giving yourself permission to outgrow? Yes, friend, because there is a old role, a old title, a old story that doesn't suit you anymore. You've outgrown it. What is that? Fill me in, friend, because I want to honor you there. Okay. Oh, this has been fabulous. And if anything else, I hope that you have gained a new level of perspective to see yourself as not being lost, but just exploring, getting to know yourself at this stage and season of your life. Friend, you deserve that. So wonderful. And listen, friend, to know me is to know I love myself so much. I don't play about me. And if you hang out with me long enough, you will love yourself so much that you won't play about you either. Okay, friend? I can't wait to connect with you in the comments, and I will see you in the next video tomorrow.